I'm here with Helen, Kenny, Father Joe and Father Dominic to explore our first Synod theme, all called and gifted by God. Helen and Kenny have been working for over 6 months now as Pastoral Associates in different parts of the diocese. This is a new role that has been set up as a 3-year pilot project to help us to consider the place that there may be for lay leaders with a formal role, working alongside our priests and volunteers. I have invited them here today for a conversation, as I think that their reflections on their experiences may help us to get into some of the issues behind our first Synod theme, all called and gifted by God.
A Pastoral Associate is somebody who works within the church setting, but goes out into the community and links the church with the schools and the community.
I think I've been very fortunate in my life experience so far. I've had some very good formation, and that has also prepared me a lot for parish life. One of the things that I've been involved with is in another diocese, was helping to support the Shopping City Mass, which was taking church to the people. So it's very much going to the people and bringing what we have to them, meeting people where they are, and seeing how that flourished was really a wonderful experience and really prepared me a lot for what I'm seeing in the Liverpool South pastoral area at the moment.
From a young age, I was going to church often with my mum and my grandparents, and that struck a chord with me in my soul, and it fed into me wanting to help people in some way. And when this role became available, I just thought it was a perfect opportunity to fit in with how I feel about caring for people and loving each other, and how we can sort of spread the good news to people.
I very personally feel that we're beginning to see things happening now in our parishes which weren't happening before. There are ministries being created and encouraged and grown, and just opportunities for people to come together, which weren't there before. Because I think there's a sense in which a lot of people realise that Father couldn't do everything, and we needed somebody who was able to work alongside the priests and the deacons across a number of parishes to encourage more people to get involved and to encourage the sharing of resources as well. So in some parishes, some ministries are stronger than others, and we can all benefit and learn from other people. And that wasn't happening before, but I really do think it's starting to happen now.
To have someone else there to actually bounce the idea off and say, actually, that's something I can run with. That's something that doesn't need to be the parish priest who does that. So actually, that's something that would be really positive. It has been a real boon, because it just means that you've got this a different, like I said before, a different set of eyes looking at the same ideas and saying, actually, what about doing it in this way? And it then develops things. So it hasn't reduced workload for me per se, but it's made the work more focused on certain areas for me.
I feel that the people have received me really well. I'm very thankful, and I count myself very blessed to be welcomed so much into the communities where I'm based. Everyone's been very kind and been very supportive, which is very important when you're starting a role which is fairly unknown, and it's new ground you're walking.
He's coordinating as a whole, but actually he's got other people, lay people, volunteers doing it and actually being involved. And I think linked with that, it's some of the catechetical stuff, which he's encouraging more people. We just had a meeting last night, and he's already got 1-2 extra people involved within our PAP, and I've been trying for years to get more people in, and I've got a few, but not very many. And whereas he's managed to get a couple more even in a short time, which is really nice. So it's that sense of encouraging people and doing it in different ways.
There are things happening which I wanted to happen, and people getting engaged in different ways, which I wasn't able to do because of all the work commitment that I had. And I think the other parish priests would feel the same about that. So it's the Pastoral Associate certainly works alongside. He or she, I don't think, really replaces anything that priests and deacons are doing already. There's more being done, there's more being celebrated, which I think is great.
I think sometimes when Father asks you, it almost feels like the question becomes, am I worthy, or am I qualified enough, or all these other questions can come out. Whereas when a fellow layperson asks you, who's learning as they journey, actually there's something really powerful about that, saying I'm not an expert, but let's journey together.
In this Synod theme, we reflect on the vocation that God gives to each of us. Some of the questions that we need to think about are, how do we live baptismal vocation? How do we celebrate the giftedness of everyone? How do we make sure that good faith formation is available? How do we promote vocations to the priesthood and religious life? And what kind of leadership do we need? My conversation with Helen, Kenny, Father Dominic and Father Joe reminds us of some of the ways in which people come to know and live the call from God and embrace the gifts that God gives them. I invite you now to reflect on the first Synod theme, all called and gifted by God, and consider what we need to do to become the church that God is calling us to be.